Good morning to all, and thank you for attending this. Hopefully it'll be useful for you. Like I said, you can go to our website there, /webinars, and pick up the slides. As you can see, my name is Tom. I give you my email, so if I can answer questions down the road, by all means, do send me emails. I answer them. Been working with MQ for quite a while myself, so if you have questions, please use the question window as opposed to the chat. And like I said, hopefully you'll get some good information out here. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So MQ publish and subscribe. Now embedded as part of the product since MQ version 7. Okay. And I will try to give you both. It's kind of a mixture between administration type topics because people need to understand what the MQ provides, if you will, and also the coding of writing code to do it. Had done this already for a company and actually with workshops, so all the code you're going to see will work. So I call it Chapter 1 because again I had done it as a class for a company, and it's really the options. I would hate to use the word administration because it's more about what's available, what you need from an MQ perspective. Okay, so first slide here. So in publish and subscribe, we got a few resources we need to kind of deal with here. Topics, and you'll kind of see that I use the symbol like that. Topics can be predefined, or they can be dynamically defined as an application subscribes to it. It's really up to the developers of the application. Probably preferable to have them defined simply because it's better for security, it's better for control, okay? And again, it is the resource, and we'll get into what a topic is here in the next slide. Subscription is something provided. Now, subscriptions can be predefined, as you'll see, but they can also be done dynamically from an application program. And it is to relate to a topic, as it says. Subscriptions can be temporary in nature, or they can be permanent. Messages, publications. In reality, if you're familiar with MQ to begin with, which is a messaging product, a publication is a message. As opposed to writing a message to a queue, we now write a message to the topic. As part of the queue manager, there's a thing called a broker. It's kind of somewhat extensive, but it's the software within the queue manager that handles all the publish and subscribe, utilizing several system queues for repositories, essentially. So the system queues, probably about, 7 or 8 of them the broker uses to do that. As I said, it's been in MQ since version 7, embedded as part of the product. Prior to that, it was a support pack you had to tack on. And the support pack was, the coding was not very friendly. Not even going to get into that. With version 7 and the publish subscribe, they build into the product much friendlier coding, if you will. Operates as a multicast message distribution system. I can have 1,000 subscribers to a given topic, and as we publish that topic, MQ will publish to 1,000 subscribers the same information. Topics are virtually unlimited. It's really based upon the space within the queue manager. Got to have a place to store all those messages somehow, some way. And of course, right, the newer version, just like I said, is much easier to use, if you will. Okay, so to give an idea of topics, you're basically, it's like a tree. You really want to kind of design this out in your mind, if you will. Now the purpose of the shaded one at the top is a predefined topic referred to as the parent topic. And subtopics under that inherit certain aspects from the parent, if you will. So the tree, right, kind of looking at the tree, each level of the tree is separated by slashes. So, you know, obviously you're going to have to kind of envision that there would be 50 states involved. Again, no limit to the number of level, maximum, however, of a topic length, 10,240 characters. Why you probably want to plan this out fairly straightforward, because you know it becomes an interesting thing. And again, all the topics do not have to be predefined. The shaded one would be, and that becomes, like I said, the administrative or parent topic to supply attributes to lower levels. But I could predefine, or I could dynamically add any point on the tree, if you will, from an application program. Okay, not going to give you any recommendations, if you will, about predefining. Really going to be up to you how much you want to control what people can subscribe to, or what people can have, versus allowing people to add topics dynamically. If this tree, in this example, if I was doing something for all the states within the United States, I might go ahead and predefine all 50 states, maybe 2 or 3 major cities within each state, and then let people add information as we go. In other words, somebody can champion a new city and add it to the tree, if you will, and then we can capture information within there. Publications are going to be primarily transitory in nature. Even though the topic tree has been built, the actual contents at any point in the tree is transitory in nature. It's once it's sent out, it's forgotten about. However, we can do retained publications, but that requires that I, as an administrator, provide code to save it somewhere permanently. So this again is a multicast messaging system designed to broadcast data that's being published, and once it's broadcast, it kind of goes away, okay? Unless I tell it to save it. So why I said, you know, you got to kind of think about what this purpose of this, you know, application is for, to whether you wanted to subscribe or create permanent topics yourself or let them dynamically add, if you will. Okay, 10,240 characters, a rather large thing. And oh, by the way, case sensitive. So you got to be real careful about what you do. Okay, so I first must alter the queue manager. This is more administration, okay? Essentially, I can provide a parent queue manager. Now we're getting complex. Essentially, rather than have a single queue manager participate and publish and subscribe, we could have dozens of queue managers in a cluster. Okay, so that's what the option PS plus enabled means. The PS mode basically is saying it's I'm enabling publish and subscribe within the queue manager. Okay. PSN message discard, basically saying that if the broker, right, how will it handle non-persistent messages if they cannot be sent or delivered to known subscribers? They get thrown away. You know, we don't want to keep them. Again, if you're familiar with MQ, we can have both persistent and non-persistent messages. Persistent is more for recovery, for, you know, assured delivery, if you will. Non-persistent messages can be discarded, and that's all we're saying here. If for some reason, like the publish engine, you know, the broker cannot deliver to the subscriber, throw it away. Okay. The next one, PSN Pres, right? If we're dealing with non-persistent replies, what do we want to do with them? Well, normal set, the default here of normal, if they cannot be delivered, they're written to the letter Q. Okay. Retry count is the next parameter. Basically, is how many times will the broker try it, right? The PS sync PT specifies whether or not command messages are processed under sync point control. Default is yes. Command messages being like if I was dynamically adding topics and things like that, okay, or subscriptions. Tree life basically is saying if I dynamically add non-administrative topics, in other words, I don't particularly define one as an administration level topic, how long will they exist when the number of subscribers reaches 0? And basically the tree life is 0 by default, so they never go away. The topics will always stay there. So that's another concern about how long, or if you want to let people dynamically add topics, once added, it stays in the tree until I as an administrator delete it, if you will, okay? So basically that's turning on publish and subscribe in a queue manager, if you will. Quickly through the next slide or two, can do it through the alter statements as text type commands, could also do it through MQ Explorer by simply doing a right click on the queue manager, choosing properties, going to the next slide where you can see all the options, and again the same options that I just kind of mentioned, highlighting publish and subscribe there, and the same kind of options. In this case here, the default tree life has been set to 1800 seconds. Okay, saying, okay, if I got a topic added dynamically, I'll allow it to kind of stay out there for 1800 seconds with nobody subscribed to it before it goes away. Again, that's only topics that are added by the subscriber type applications dynamically. Otherwise, they're either predefined or will go away later. Okay. So, example of defining a topic. Now, again, I can create topics dynamically, but again, I recommend that you think about it and put, key topics in place already. So, defining a topic, the name within the topic here, themis axx.generalinfo.info. That is the topic resource name as known to the queue manager. Resources to MQ, 48 characters in length. Mixed case, that is what I would make security about. Okay, the subscribers have to specify that, but we'll see the bigger topic string here in a second. Type equal local is the default. You don't have to code it. It must be the second parameter. It just says that the topic exists locally within this queue manager. The description, 64 characters, whatever you want to call it. I encourage people to have good descriptions, okay? Topic string, str, right? That is what can be up to 10,240 characters in length. It is case sensitive, okay? And it is kind of partial. As you can see, I called it MQ103X/general. Okay, so basically 2 levels, okay? And I could have several other levels defined, but it's kind of like a base, if you will. Could I define a complete topic with 5 levels deep? Sure, okay? As the second bullet point says, I'm kind of giving you what might be considered best practice values for defining a topic. So durable, sub, yes. Any subscription is a durable subscription. Now, kind of what that means is, I as a subscriber, when I subscribe to the topic, right, I don't have to stay around. My application does not have to be active. Durable subscription means it will be remembered in a repository. And as part of the subscription, you'll see where I supply the name of a queue. Okay, bear with me on that one. So dir sub yes says I'm allowing durable subscriptions, which mean they can stick around, permanently as part of the topic, so that messages could be published and tucked away, even though the subscriber application is not in a position to retrieve messages, if you will. MDIR MDL is the model queue that I would set up for non-durable subscriptions, or subscriptions that are dynamically created, or a subscription that I create that I want to be durable. It's essentially the model that would create the queue dynamically, either for the durable subscription or non-durable. So do not have to predefine all the subscriber queues. And the purpose of subscriber queues is to hold the messages published. So think about it for a moment. Any topic on that tree, I can publish a message to. I can have people subscribe to any point on the tree, and it will have a queue. So could I have the same, let's say, user subscribe to 5 different points on the tree? Sure, as long as I have a queue to hold the messages coming from those different points. Okay, or I could have 5 queues. Queues can be created dynamically, so I don't have to do it based upon the model. Okay, the MNDIR model is essentially for non-durable subscriptions. So again, I have 2 different models I can use. Okay, so the queue names get created dynamically. Now, the next 2 parameters there, NP MSG DLV, non-persistent message delivery. And then the second parameter, PM SG DLV, persistent message delivery. Now again, think of normal message queuing here for a moment. The way I tell folks is, think of it this way. Most of your messages are going to be non-persistent. You don't need to recover them. Okay, now non-persistent messages basically account for probably 80–90% of the traffic. 10 to 20% of the traffic are persistent, things that need to be recovered. Something to think about. If you went to an ATM and stuck in your bank card and said, what's my balance? The inquiry doesn't need to be recoverable. So as a consequence, right, it would probably want to make it a non-persistent message. All that simply means is, if for some reason you can't get a response, what are you going to do? You're going to take your card out, go to another ATM 2 blocks down the road, right, stick it in and say, what's my balance? However, if you did a funds transfer and you did not get a proper response, you might want to have that be persistent, because you want to know how did it complete before the thing failed. You're not going to want to go down the street and try it again and do double transfers. So give you food for thought. Now, little different here for these 2 things. I have it coded as all available in both cases. The other choices are all or all durable. Problem with all or all durable, okay? Now, durable subscribers would have the queue predefined the moment they subscribe and create the durable subscription, okay? However, anybody that's subscribing dynamically may not have, may only, do a non-durable, and that means when they go away, so does their subscription, if you will. If you're saying all or all durable, if there's some point or some person or some subscriber application that for some reason it cannot be delivered to, the broker is going to start to deliver messages. And if it finds a case where it cannot deliver, right, the message to certain subscribers for whatever reason, it's going to quit and fail the application that's putting the message to the topic. In other words, if I have a putting application, I simply put a message to topic. You'll actually see the coding of that to be the tail end of that part of the presentation. So if I fail the put, that means it doesn't continue, nobody else is going to see it. And that all available simply says, deliver it to all the available ones, and any ones you can't deliver to, don't bother. Now, persistent message, all available, same kind of thing. The difference being that the messages are being logged and I can recover them should we lose the queue manager. That's the difference. But again, all available says if I can write it, fine. If I can't, just go on and just send it to whoever you can. Subscribers are supposed to be currently subscribed when publications are written to the topic. In other words, they're supposed to be available to handle messages. If it is a durable subscription, then and you've provided the queue has been built, a message can sit there and then you can pick it up at any point in time. Okay, so again, think of how you're going to use this. Okay, as to how you want these things going on. Okay, so next couple slides, similar thing, except now I did a right click on, this is with Explorer, MQ Explorer. IBM's trying to get us to use this tool to do all of our administration, if you will, on MQ. So right click on a topic, do new. Next screen that you see is to define the topic name basically. And then once you click next, you get the screen that you see here to define all the attributes. And again, topic string is the 10,240 character string that you can provide. As you can see here, right, I can define it as, I can pick up most of the attributes as parent. So in other words, you want to have a high-level topic defined, it becomes the parent topic, and then we can inherit certain attributes from there, if you will. And you can kind of see those things. Click Finish, and you will get a topic defined that will show up. Topic will stay there within the repository for the broker until you tell it to disappear, or I, the administrator, tell it to disappear, if you will. Okay, if you are going to define topics yourself, I would recommend that you do the text form as opposed to using Explorer, simply because that way I've got a permanent record of that. If I use MQ Explorer to define topics, they're remembered in the repositories, queues, right? The system queues that are repositories. Should I ever destroy that queue, or cannot get the information back because I got some kind of an error trying to read the queue, I got nothing to reload it with. If I have the text form in members somewhere tucked away, I can reload them by using the background utilities, the command level type utilities to reload them. Likewise for the subscription that you now see being presented. Again, I can predefine subscriptions through this MQSC command, or I can do it dynamically through my program. So the sub parameter here, the subscription name, again, 48 characters, uniquely identifying the subscription. When the subscriber application says, I want to use this subscription, it saves them a little bit of work, if you will, if it's predefined. Again, could help with security. I can control who can subscribe. Now, destination is a queue. So the queue could be predefined, or when I issue the subscription request, it could create it dynamically from the model. And again, I would tell it whether it's going to be persistent, persistent or not persistent, if you will, or contain persistent messages. So the queue name here, thmaxx.streamqueue, would be whatever name I choose for my application, and that would be the place to hold the message. That is a normal MQ style queue. So it has to have all the proper attributes set up, proper message lengths, things like that. So, whoever's going to publish can publish a message that has to be of the proper size. to hold the queue. Destination class basically says it's provided as opposed to managed. And that's where we get into whether it's going to be dynamically created or not. Destination class of provided says the queue is predefined. If I said managed, that's when it's going to use the models and dynamically create the queue when I subscribe to it. And also when you see how I subscribe in the coding, that is also when I could make it durable or not. The option on the topic for dir sub yes just says it's possible, but I have to request it. If I request durable subscription, this becomes a queue that's kind of permanently defined, right? And again, the models I choose, when I create a model, it's like a standard MQ model. And I get to choose whether it's a permanent dynamic model or a temporary dynamic model. Okay, so the queue becomes permanent or temporary in nature. Typically, most of the cases I've seen and recommended to folks is the queue be done as a permanent dynamic model, so the queue physically will exist until you destroy it, if you will. And again, the application can do so. This is just the name of the queue, right? Now, topic object. I am naming the topic object. Now that's the 48 character name, not the full complete 10,000 one. And again, that's how we relate this subscription to the topic. Unlimited number of subscribers to a topic. As many as you can fit or as many as you want. The only restriction in reality to all of this is the physical space back in your queue manager. Do you have enough space to hold all these definitions? And again, think about it. If you go absolutely crackers or nuts with the topics and you're 5,000 characters for each topic, that definition takes a sizable amount. But if I'm also publishing, MQ allows a message of up to 100 megabytes. If I'm publishing 10 megabyte messages and I've got 100 subscribers to that topic, think about it for a second. 100 times 10 megabytes, right? Because the broker is going to publish, if all my subscriptions are durable, it's going to publish, right, 100 messages of 10 megabytes each to the 100 subscribers. So this is why you need to think about how you're going to manage all of this, if you will. Okay? Also, maybe it affects your choices about what you're going to allow dynamically. Okay, so briefly through the MQ Explorer. Again, right-click on the subscription, do new. Next slide, you give it a name, right? 48 characters, should be unique, or must be unique, if you will. And then finally on the next panel, once you did next, you get the point where you can supply the actual topic name, etc. That's defined as a queue. You can actually supply correlation identifiers, which means I can retrieve publications by a correlation identifier, right? Again, the subscription here is going to relate to a queue. Messages in the queue are going to be just like any other MQ message, if you will. And once I click finish, I now have the subscription defined in my queue manager until I get rid of it. So, quick trip through the resources and definitions, and I don't know if you folks are administration or developers, but it does not hurt to have developers understand how these things are created, if you will. So, let's get into coding. So chapter 2, the second part of this, is the coding, if you will. You're going to see it's kind of pretty straightforward. Few structures that must be copied in. So on this first slide, wherever you have your normal MQ structures, I have two that are going to get copied in. CMQ, SDV, again, I'm assuming COBOL here, right? There are similar structures for C or assembler, whatever you code in, but making the assumption that most people on large systems, mainframes, are going to be coding in COBOL. Although this is the same principle across any platform. right? If I were to show you C structures, I could use my C structures on any platform that supports MQ, right? Not a problem. So CMQ SDV is the subscription, then the SRO is the second one. So I'm just copying in with the values. But you can also see I have a bunch of working storage variables that I need to supply. Work length, you'll see what that's used for. The actual topic length, I have to compute the whole topic length. The subname length, you'll see the subscription name, I'm going to supply. Notice there's two HOBJs, two object handles here. One is going to represent the queue, right? And the second object handle is going to represent the topic string, or topic, if you will, okay? So you're, I shouldn't say the queue, the topic and the topic, full topic string, you'll see. We'll talk about the subscription action or sub RQ action, we'll get there. Now, topic object, 48 bytes, name of the object, okay? Topic unique, 48, and you can see basic info. It's kind of like the base level name I provided, if you will, to a topic. But you'll see where I can actually make it, I could make it much, much larger. Work field. Now, because I've kind of restricted my topic name, and a topic name unique here would be the full, complete unique topic, and it can't be 10,000 characters. The work field here, as I'm kind of putting things together, you got to kind of wait till you see the command here. It's a little bit of a complex command, but it's pretty straightforward. So the work field is where it's building the ultimate topic that I'm going to subscribe to. Now, it's restricted here to 64 because I've kind of restricted myself to 48 byte names. Could be 10,240. The next couple fields here, accounting token, Apple identity token. In normal MQ messages, two fields you're allowed to supply as part of the header are an accounting token in case you wanted to do some form of message accounting, and an identity token in case you wanted to have something in the message to identify the purpose of the message without actually getting a look at the data. So this allows the application, right, to supply the token fields, if you will. Okay, now again, remember I'm going to show you the publication last. So the subscriber is not supplying the tokens, but the publishing part will be, right? And of course, subscription name is the name of the subscription that I want to dynamically subscribe to, if you will. Okay? Could specify the actual name of a permanent one. That's why it's set to 48, right? So couple structures come in, bunch of variables I need to set up. Okay, on the next couple slides is the MQSD or subscription descriptor. Easy for me to say. So I copy this in, and I've kind of bolded the fields that you're going to have to really work with or set up, if you will, when you're doing this. We're going to see some options, okay? Probably about 20 or 30 options possible. Do not have all the, we just gave you the slides that you're looking at. All the text is in the documentation, okay? Object name will be the name of the subscription, the topic that you've defined. Now that's the 48 character name, not the 10,000 character name, right? And again, the colons there, I've precluded a bunch of fields from your view. There is another part here, again, the object string. This is where I would define the 10,000 long string, if you will. So the group level there, that's what it's called. And then within there, you can see the 20 level, the object string dash VS PTR. So I could somehow point to a piece of storage that contains the place where I built the string. And then the other one, the object string VS length, is the length of it. So somewhere within either working storage, I would create a 10,000 byte area that I can build the string in, okay, and then supply it as an address pointer you'll see here, and then also set the length. So object name is the topic, right? That could have the complete string in it, or I can supply one myself. So if you think about the tree, for the states, I might supply the 50 states and a handful of cities in each state. And they can simply I can create many topics, right? In a sense, let's say 5 cities per state, that would require that I do about 250 topics, right? So I have permanent anchor points for those key cities. So by using the object name talking to a topic, now it makes it a little bit more complex because you have to provide the developers a list of topics, right? 250 different topics that they can subscribe to in the object name. A little more complex is all. A little bit more work, but we can cut and paste and replicate things. Or they can supply the topic name in the object string, and if it doesn't exist, create it dynamically. So this is where you can start to see where they get pick and choose, if you will. Okay, second half, next of the thing on the next slide. So here's the subscription name. So again, I can predefine the subscription or create it as I go. Now here again, the subscription name is done as a variable length, okay? It's only going to be a maximum of 48 characters, okay? But I can create it dynamically. So it kind of made it a little bit hard, if you will. And again, the accounting token applet identity data, right? Again, supplying default values, if you will, that I want plugged into the messages. So the subscription application can supply the stuff, right? Or I shouldn't say that. The subscription here is initialized to the binary zeros or spaces, as the case may be. So when I subscribe, that's what the default values are. If the publisher applies them, we'll see them. Okay, so now the fun. So using the variables I had predefined earlier, I supply the topic object to the object name. So I'm setting the base topic, setting accounting tokens, right? So again, I can actually I can have this permanently supplied as part of the subscription, or I can do it as I publish. Now, function reverse, okay, into the work field. So I take the unique portion of the topic, okay, and I it's a COBOL function that reverses the sequence of the characters. So if you think about it, it was high level / next level. Now it's been kind of reversed. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is compute the length of that topic. So again, that was designed to be a permanent topic or a complete topic name, and I've turned it around and reversed it. Okay, so I'm basically inspecting the work field, right? Calling work length, and I'm taking the leading spaces away. Okay, subtract, right, that length from the length of the topic unique. And if you kind of go back, and I don't want to go flying back, I had the length of the topic predefined, right? And I shouldn't say that. I'm subtracting it. The topic length I compute and subtract it, okay? And then move the topic length to the object string length. And then set the pointer, right? Object string vs pointer to the address of the unique topic. So essentially calculating the length of the thing. So when I supply the pointer to that unique value, again, I restricted things to 48 bytes, could be 10,000 bytes. I'm actually finding what the actual length was, okay? Telling MQ the length of the complete topic. Caution, if I do not do topics dynamically, in other words, I don't allow people to do this topic dynamically, create it if you will, then it must match a predefined topic. Okay? And it must be case sensitive, and that also includes the length. Okay? The next part, subscription name. Again, reverse it. Tell me how many leading blanks there are. Subtract it from the length. Set the length, set the pointer, and now I've got the subscription name set up. Compute the options to I want to create plus resume. If the topic doesn't exist, subscription doesn't exist, create it. If it does exist, resume it. In other words, I want to pick back up where I left off. I set it to non-durable. I set it to managed. Now, non-durable means, right, it's not going to be a subscription that's going to live forever. When my application goes away, the subscription goes away. Managed means it's going to dynamically create the queue. Okay? Now remember, I supplied the name of a subscription. In there is the queue name. Okay, but I've kind of overridden that and said it's going to be a managed one, so it's going to dynamically create the queue. Okay? And of course, I'm going to have it set identity context. In other words, I want it to pick up the context that has been supplied, the Apple identity and the accounting token. And of course, if MQ is in the process of being shut down, let's fail the command. And then call MQ sub, right? HCon subscription descriptor, the Q LBJ, the subscription LBJ, those are going to both be supplied, and then comp code reason code. Okay? So I have now subscribed to a particular topic. Possible errors, I'm not going to really spend a lot of time here. So the possible errors, as you can see, I may not be allowed to do durable subscriptions. I got a bad subscription name. I got topic string error, quiescing, etc. And as it says, please have a catch-all for things you don't plan for. I do kind of give you a list of all the possible failed reasons, or I don't take that back. I don't have the text for you. There are probably twice as many or 3 times as many reasons. These are just the more common ones. Okay. The subscribing application is then going to do something on this order, if you will. This is a normal MQ get because we are going to essentially work with a queue. Okay? So I'm setting the MQ MI none, CI none like you normally would have to. Setting encoding negative, picking the default character coded set ID, 30,000 to the MQ GMO wait interval. It's going to do a get with wait, and I'm saying basically wait up to 30 seconds. If I don't get a message, I'll get no message available, and away we're going to go. Set the length of message in, right? Now, I am telling MQ how big the message is, what I can accept, and I'm setting the length. Anything bigger, I'm going to get an error, right? Setting the options. Wait, no sync point, which means the moment I get the message, it's gone, okay? Do convert, because it could be coming from another platform somewhere. And of course, fail if quiescing, because I am waiting, right? I want it to fail if they're trying to shut down MQ. Standard MQ get call, HCon HOBJ. Now notice it's Q HOBJ. So the subscription call created the queue manager created a handle, an HOBJ, and now I'm using that handle on the get so it knows which queue to retrieve. So it's created the queue, subscribed to the topic, and now I've got the handle to, for the queue to get from. The MQMD, the MQ GMO, standard message descriptor, standard message, get message options, message length, message in data area, right? which is you're supplying to by your program, and of course the data LL, right? Data LL is going to be MQ telling me how big the actual message was. So message in length, I'm telling the biggest message I can handle. The data length is MQ telling me how big it was, okay? And again, you can kind of see the errors there. SRO structure. This is for subscription request. Not much I want to tell you here. Let's just dive into the call. Okay? Now, this call is, I could have subscribed and I could have used the option publications on request, right? On the subcall. What I'm basically saying is I don't want the things published delivered to me right away, right? I'm going to request them. This is also how I can pick up retained publications, but I have to have an exit in place. So again, you can kind of see the simple code here. The fail requesting to the options, the subscription request is, publications, and I do the request. To be honest, I don't use this call a lot. Most of the time, I'm going to subscribe and hang around and get messages and go away at a predetermined point. Okay, so at some point in time, right, when I've processed all the publications, the messages, I'm going to close. Right? What am I closing here? Well, I'm actually closing the subscription, you'll notice. Remember, there was two HOBJs, two object handles. One's for the subscription and then one for the actual queue. So here, I'm setting the options like normal to none. I'm going to close. But if you'll notice, it's the sub HOBJ. So I'm getting the queue HOBJ, but I'm going to close the sub HOBJ, closing out the subscription. Kind of confusing, isn't it? If you're used to MQ, you open a queue, you get messages, you close the queue. Well, here I subscribe and I get two handles. One for the subscription, one for the queue that holds the messages. I get the handle for the messages, I close the subscription when I'm done. If it's not a durable subscription, this is where the subscription gets removed from the system, right? It's going to go away. If it's durable, it can stick around. Okay, so very close to being complete. Okay, last couple slides actually. So here is basic code for a publication. So again, using some of the variables I had, I moved the topic name to the object name. The MQOD object name is the normal open, options, right? Object descriptor for the opens. So object name, topic object to the object name, or type, pardon me, move the MQOT topic to the type, default is a queue. So now I'm telling it's a topic. Topic object, right, to the object name. So in other words, I'm subscribing to the predefined topic object, the 48 character one. Setting object descriptor to version 4 because I need to work with those extended fields. Again, I don't really show you the MQOD at this point. It's standard MQOD. Kind of, pick and choose what I wanted to include. Function reverse the topic, right? Again, I have that previous topic name. I'm going to reverse it. Compute the length, set the object string VS pointer to the address of the topic unique. So once again, getting ready to publish to that topic. Set the options to output failed requesting. Again, if they're going to shut it down, I want to know. And then do a call MQ open. Standard MQ open, just like you would open a queue. HCON, MQOD, the options, the HOBJ, comp code, reason code. And once again, right, the HOBJ will represent the topic here as opposed to a queue. Common errors, I might get on an open. Again, you want to catch all. So we open a topic very similar to the way you would have opened a queue. Okay. put. So I'm going to set up what amounts to a normal MQ put call, just like I would put to queue. The difference, I'm now putting to a topic. So MQ CI none, I'm not going to work with correlation IDs. It's a datagram. We're not doing reply to queue processing here. It's a datagram. We're going to broadcast this. This is like a broadcast to multi-points, right? No reports. I don't want to see any reports from a message. And I'm setting it to non-persistent, right? Don't care. This is a broadcast. I'm going to publish it. It's non-persistent. It's something we don't need to recover should we lose queue manager. Okay? Think stock tickers. You know, maybe I'm publishing the current price of IBM stock or Microsoft stock. If the queue manager goes down, right, we don't want to recover an old price. We want to get a new one. So, length of message out, right? The format of string, it is a string message. It doesn't have binary data. New message ID, no sync point, so it flows right away. I don't have to commit. And then call put. And again, a standard put. HCON, HOBJ, MQMD, MQPMO, message out length, message out data, however long it is, right? And again, it could be 100 meg. And then typical errors that might occur, right? Queue full, right? Because it is a queue. It gets created. The models will tell me how many can be there, max depth. The worrisome one is the page set full. Basically, I've got no DASD space. I've filled up the whole space, right? If you will. So the caveat here. So even though it's not persistent, I'm putting a message, okay? This put call is going to kind of wait to return a status to me until it can kind of write to all of the subscribers. Remember I said all available, okay? And it will sit there and write to the, all the subscribers. If they're durable, just all it's got to do is deliver a message to a queue, right? Or create the queue and deliver it. So the put call can take a little bit of time, depending upon how many subscribers there are, if you will. And in a sense, that way I can get an error returned to me that it worked or not. If I'm doing the all or all durable, I might get the fact that it fails because I can't deliver to all the proper people. I might want to know that, okay? So if you're putting the message to 1,000 subscribers, this put call can take a while because the assumption is you want to check comp code, reason code to see how it worked. Now, the other caveat, there's nothing here that's going to tell me how many I put to. In other words, if I had 1,000 subscribers, but I said all available, maybe 950 of them are available, right? But the other 50 are not. There's no way I'm going to really know that, unfortunately, okay? The assumption is that you have mechanisms to redeliver messages should they need to be redelivered. And that's pretty much it. Okay. Again, the coding I'm showing you was actually part of applications we did. Okay, I just don't give you all the standard MQ copybooks and things like that and all the superfluous, functions around it, if you will. Wanted to focus on the calls necessary to both subscribe and publish messages. Typically, two different applications could be really coming out of the same program. Totally up to you and your designs. And with that, I am done. I hopefully give you some useful information about publish and subscribe. You have my email, so if you have any questions, by all means, send me emails.